Losing someone you love is hard enough. Death is a common experience for all people. It happens to everybody. The death rate is one per person. We're all going to make it. But it's especially hard for a family to deal with when that fatality is caused by the negligence of someone, especially an 18-wheeler driver and somebody on the road. In this video, I'm going to take you through the 4 steps you need to do to ensure your wrongful death claim is a success. I'm Shane McGuire. I'm a personal injury lawyer here in Texas, and I've handled dozens of wrongful death claims over the years. And so I want to walk you through the 4 things you must do in order to maximize the value of your wrongful death claim to get the compensation you deserve to honor your family member who passed away. Number 1, act fast. Preserve key evidence immediately. After a loved one passes away in a car wreck, there's kind of a busyness to that period. You're doing thing after thing after thing and kind of putting off the grieving process. You're dealing with funeral arrangements. You're dealing with, oh my gosh, where did they keep all the passwords to all the accounts that we have? What are we going to do for our kids? How do we pay the bills if the person who passed away is the bill payer in the household? All these things, there's just this busyness to it. In the midst of that, you're trying to grieve. Hopefully you're coming to terms with what happened and you're healthily grieving. A lot of people obviously just kind of put that off. In the midst of this, there's an insurance company out there. There's an 18-wheeler company out there who is treating this as a potential claim, and they are working actively to jump on it from a defense perspective to make sure they pay out as little as possible. So they're conspiring against you, even as you're just trying to grieve and deal with the loss of a loved one. In the midst of that, while all this is going on, you need to export your stress, and you need to have somebody you trust gathering the evidence you need. What do I mean by that? First thing is that car that your loved one was in, it has to be preserved. One of the first things we need to do in a wrongful death case is we need to examine the car. We need to get the black box data out of the car. We need to take measurements. We need to look inside the car to see, is there a seatbelt failure? Is there something mechanical in the car your spouse or loved one was in failed that caused the wreck, or if it didn't cause the wreck, caused the fatality? That car has to be preserved. Any evidence from that wreck has to be preserved to the degree you have the power to do that. 2, notify the right people right away. You need to notify authorities of what happened. Generally speaking, obviously DPS is going to be out there. There's going to be a police agency working the wreck, but you need to notify the authorities what happened. You need to notify your insurance company what happened. And you need to notify the tow yard that has the vehicle, your own vehicle or your family member's vehicle. They need to preserve it. Notify them to preserve that vehicle. They put what's called a litigation hold on it, and they'll, for a period of time, for weeks or months, they'll hold off on selling that car at auction and just recouping whatever expense they have, because they'll just let it sit there. We need that vehicle to sit there. So make sure you've alerted authorities. Make sure you've alerted your insurance company. Make sure you've alerted the tow yard to put a hold on that vehicle. 3, we have to prove liability and damages through solid documentation. Here's what I mean by this. For most of the time when I'm dealing with a wrongful death claim, it's an 18-wheeler wreck or the like, and we need to go out and have an expert examine where the wreck took place. We have to go hire an expert to take measurements of the at-fault driver's vehicle, not only our own, not only our client's vehicle, but the at-fault driver vehicle, do a data download there, and make sure that we're doing proactively all the things we need to do, knowing that that insurance company, they just view you as a loss. An insurance company is like a godless, soulless entity. It's a business. It's a for-profit business. And that's fine. But they're out there trying to protect their profits while you're over here grieving. And so we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to maximize the value of the claim and really prevent them from disposing of evidence that we need in order to prove up the claim against the 18-wheeler company. I've seen it happen 100 times. Wrongful death claim, somebody doesn't hire a lawyer for 6 months because they're working through the grieving process. And by that time, their car's gone, the 18-wheeler's been repaired, or the box truck that ran over their spouse has been repaired, Maybe it's been sold, maybe it was a lease, and that lease has been terminated, that's gone. Can't get the data, okay? And what you're left with is the at-fault driver still alive, and he's gonna give a description of what happened, and that description inure to his benefit. He's not gonna give the best version of the wreck that would be good for you. He's gonna give the best version of the wreck that would be good for him. And so if the police haven't done as thorough a job as they ought to, then what you're left with is just that other driver's word on what happened. We need to bypass through that and get the actual real data. You know, a lot of these 18-wheelers, they have outboard cameras and in-cab cameras so that you can see like what the driver was doing. Is he on the phone? Is he texting? Is he reaching for a Whataburger cup that fell to the passenger seat? What's he doing in the cab? I'm telling you, I have a case right now where 18-wheeler wreck, where he blows up my client's car, just blows it up. On the in-cab video is blaming them for coming out of nowhere, okay? So you see his face. What are they doing? Swearing at him, calling him all kinds of names. The outboard camera shows that he just changed lanes right into him on I-45 and just blew him up, okay? And so if you were just left with his word, he's saying these people came out of nowhere. But once you see the video don't lie. And you can see that he's 100% at fault and he was distracted on the phone while he was operating that 18-wheeler. It is imperative that evidence be preserved and that we prove liability and damages through solid documentation. 4, hire a wrongful death attorney in Texas. If your lawyer hasn't worked wrongful death cases with success, you can't hire him. It's too important. You cannot hire him on a wrongful death case. A lot of times I've seen it, man, I've seen it so many times. Somebody, when a lawyer hears of a wrongful death case, they think, oh, I'm telling you this happens. They think, oh, I can make a bunch of money on this. And so if like your uncle or your cousin is a lawyer, like a business lawyer, and he hears that your spouse was killed in a wreck, he or she may be like, hey, you should just hire me, because they think it's easy, because they've seen verdict reports and settlement reports where big settlements have been made on these types of cases. And that's true. They have been by people who know what they're doing. So I don't care if you hire me or not. There's other lawyers out there who know what they're doing. But if you have a wrongful death claim, hire a lawyer who knows what he's doing, has a proven track record of success, not just somebody who's nearest to hand, who you happen to know, who is on your Christmas card list. Hire a wrongful death attorney. It's absolutely imperative if you want to get the compensation you deserve to honor the legacy of your loved one and cover you for the lost income you have, the loss of spousal support that you have because your husband or wife died. Man, I'm telling you, most people, most lawyers, if they're not wrongful death attorneys, they don't even know who the right plaintiffs are, and they don't know what the claims are. They just see death and the potential pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but they don't know what they're doing. So it is imperative, hire a wrongful death attorney if you have a wrongful death claim in Texas. So 4 steps. 1, act fast. Preserve key evidence. I know it's hard because you're in that grieving process, but man, it has to be done. 2, notify the right people and authorities right away. Has to be done. 3, you got to prove liability and damages through solid documentation and expert reports by examining both vehicles and the scene. 4, hire a wrongful death attorney who handles wrongful death claims in Texas. If you follow these steps, you'll have the best shot at justice and financial peace of mind for you and your family. But don't stop here. In my next video, the #1 mistake families make after a Texas car wreck death, I'm diving into a single oversight that ruins claims every single year in Texas. Don't let it happen to you. Click over now to learn how to protect your rights before it's too late.